Hello everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. I'm Caroline.
And I'm Peter. It's great to have you with us for another episode of English Talkcast.
Today's topic is one that many people encounter daily in their workplaces: greetings and small talk. Specifically, we'll be discussing the common question, "Good morning, did you have a good weekend?"
That's right. This might seem like a small part of office life, but how you greet and engage with your colleagues can really impact your work environment.
Absolutely. We'll start by listening to a sample dialogue to see how this greeting might play out in a real office setting.
After that, we'll break down the phrases used and explain some common vocabulary and phrasal verbs.
And, of course, we'll share some tips on how to use these phrases effectively.
So, let's dive in. Here's a short dialogue for you.
Hi, John. Good morning. Did you have a good weekend?
Morning, Sarah. Yes, I did. I went hiking on Saturday. It was really refreshing. How about you?
Oh, that sounds fantastic. I just relaxed at home and watched a few movies. It was nice to have some downtime.
That's great. It's always good to unwind. Are you ready for the big meeting today?
Almost. I'm just going through the final details now. I'm excited, though.
Do you want to catch up over coffee later?
All right, let's break this down.
First, we have the greeting "Good morning." This is a polite and standard way to greet someone at the start of the day. It's used in both formal and informal settings.
You might also hear variations like morning or simply hi, which are more casual but still appropriate for the workplace.
Exactly. Now, when Sarah asked, "Did you have a good weekend?" she was expressing interest in John's personal time. This is a nice way to show that you care about your colleagues beyond work.
And when John responded with, "I went hiking," he was sharing an activity he enjoyed. This helps build rapport and gives the other person something to connect with.
Yes, sharing a bit about what you did over the weekend is a great way to make conversations more engaging. You might also hear phrases like, "I went to the beach," or "I visited some friends."
Moving on, the phrase "catch up over coffee" is quite common. To catch up means to update each other on recent events or news. It's a friendly way to suggest meeting informally.
And "go through" is another important phrase. It means to review something carefully. In this case, Sarah was referring to reviewing the details for the meeting.
Another useful expression was unwind. This means to relax and relieve stress. It's great to use when talking about how you spent your free time.
Let's extend this dialogue and dive into another example to see how these conversations can evolve further.
Good morning, Tom. How was your weekend?
Morning, Emma. It was pretty good, thanks. I went to a new restaurant downtown with some friends. How about yours?
That sounds fun. Mine was good too. I spent most of it gardening and doing some DIY projects around the house. It was really satisfying.
Nice. It's great to spend time on hobbies. What kind of projects did you work on?
I built a new bookshelf for my living room and did some painting in the garden. It was a lot of work, but it turned out well.
That sounds impressive. I'd love to see some pictures of your projects.
Sure, I can show you some later. By the way, are you ready for the client presentation this afternoon?
Almost there. I just need to finalize a few slides. How about you?
I'm good to go. Let's make sure we have a quick review session before the meeting.
Definitely. How about we grab a coffee and go over everything in about an hour?
Perfect. See you then.
In this extended dialogue, you can see how Emma and Tom exchanged more details about their weekends, which helped them connect on a more personal level.
Yes, and they also used the opportunity to coordinate work-related tasks, showing how small talk can smoothly transition into discussing work matters.
Let's break down some additional phrases and vocabulary from this dialogue. For example, Emma said she did some DIY projects. DIY stands for do-it-yourself, referring to home improvement or crafting tasks you do on your own.
And when Emma mentioned finalize a few slides, she was talking about completing the last details of a presentation. It's a common phrase in office settings.
Another phrase was grab a coffee. This is a casual way to suggest getting together for a short meeting or break, often to discuss something informally.
And when Emma said, let's make sure we have a quick review session, she used review session to mean a brief meeting to go over important points before a bigger event.
These kinds of phrases are useful for keeping your interaction smooth and professional while still being friendly.
Now, let's discuss some tips for making small talk more engaging. First, be genuinely interested in the other person's responses. Ask follow-up questions based on what they share.
Yes, showing genuine interest helps build rapport. For instance, if someone mentions a hobby, you can ask them how they got into it or what they enjoy most about it.
Another tip is to share a bit about yourself, as John did with his hiking story. This makes the conversation more balanced and reciprocal.
And don't be afraid to use small talk as a segue into discussing work. It's a natural way to transition from personal to professional topics.
Small talk isn't just about filling time, it's about making connections and fostering a positive work environment.
So, the next time you're in the office and someone asks, "Did you have a good weekend?" Remember these tips and phrases to make your conversation more meaningful.
We hope you found these tips helpful.
Thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next time on English Talkcast.
Take care.